years later, Norman Bates is home. Psycho 2. It's starting again.
Oh, this is such a great script, Psycho 2. I know everyone's seen the original. And yeah, in this opening scene they let him out 23 years later. They didn't do the sequel until 1983. So it's really 23 years later and they let him out over reason of insanity.
Yeah, so they start off with a court scene. It's just like, of course,
Which
they
is,
let him out.
This is one of the most relatable, iconic villains
because the government lets out like 20 psychopaths each weekend.
Exactly, so it's only fitting for this script. Oh my god, I can't wait to see the third one. So I've only seen the first two. So this is a great script. Great ending too. And so yeah, in the opening scene, I thought it would be a little more dramatic, but the sister of Marion Crane or whatever, Janet Leigh's character,
like, yeah, I got a couple,
the original one who gets killed, yeah, and they're like,
I got a couple of petition signatures, so he should stay in jail. And nobody even really gives a shit. They're just there as extras.
And then she talks to some extra, and she's like, "You're gonna let a homicidal maniac on the list?"
It's about to happen.
And then like
he's like, "I'm an extra."
No, the judge is like sitting there, and he's got a California flag. Like they brought Norman Bates to Cali. Like even though,
because the bitch,
if I'm not mistaken, isn't like the Bates Hotel in Arizona, like on the way to California or something? I don't even know, or Nevada or something. But anyway, yeah, they bring him to California like it's Michael Myers' Halloween H2O. And anyway, then he returns, so they like return him to the infamous house, the Bates Hotel, with like no restrictions. He's not even on probation or anything. Like only like his doctor just like gets to check in on him.
I know, they would have freaking like had some provisions where he can't be around 5-year-olds or something. But you know, it's all classic and it's all freaking looking all dark and gloomy and the paint's all faded and the house looks all gorgeous.
No, and they treat him like any other prisoner, like any other G getting off of like prison, like, and set him up with like a low-paying job, and he's like working at, even though he owns the Bates Hotel.
That, though, doesn't he freaking show up when he shows up at home and it's already the manager he fires?
No, you freaking moron, or else I would have talked about it.
Alright, so I'm the first asshole.
No, you're just the first moron. I'll be an asshole and tell you that you're a moron.
So he starts off with a diner, and it's freaking him washing dishes.
No, like we need to see an iconic horror villain who hasn't been on the screen for the last 23 years flipping burgers and washing dishes.
Exactly.
Like Norman Bates flipping burgers and washing dishes.
It's like freaking seeing Leatherface washing dishes at like Taco Bell or something.
Can you picture Jason? Yeah, if Jason did that or something. Washing dishes, like when you
a local restaurant.
Try to picture that. It's Norman Bates.
You can't do it.
Even though he's the most relatable, but you still can't see because he's so iconic.
So you're watching.
No, he's like more like old and slow and retarded than Psycho. In this, no, Norman Bates, Anthony Perkins, and they also Meg Tilly, like she gets an "and" credit in the credits. They give her an "and" credit, and she never even saw the first film. She's like terrible throughout, and they like build the relationship.
Like Jamie Lee Curtis, she didn't know that Michael Myers could die. She never saw the first film.
Oh yeah, just like how Jamie Lee Curtis didn't know Michael Myers. Alright. And then freaking the Myers fan is just like, what the hell?
The chick that he's going to be staying with, that he invites to like stay with her.
They build up the relationship between them throughout the movie, and it's fucking retarded. You know how in the original, the first one, he just like kills Janet Leigh on the first night? Well, yeah, she like survives multiple nights inside the Bates house.
Yeah, he somehow comes out cured, like out of being in the psych ward forever. And he's like, oh, we're friendly, I'm friendly.
Who the hell is cured washing dishes for $5 an hour?
No, and you gotta be psychotic if you're washing dishes for $5.
No, they got him probably so numbed up on drugs it's not even
Oh
funny.
yeah, they got him on psychotropics. You know those commercials for like Ritalin and all that shit, and they'll be like, here, take it, you know, and then it'll cause depression, cause you to, you know, suicide and all, a whole bunch of other worse things, you'll get cancer. But it'll fix this problem.
And then anyway, so then like the guy who was like in NYPD Blue from like the 90s is like the manager who's been running the Bates Motel.
So he just shows up at the hotel, and the fat manager's working there like for him, and he's like, "If I had man," he's like, "What?" Because he's got like kids running around doing it or something. He was saying in the basement.
Oh, he turned it into
just a freaking party hotel. To a crunk hotel.
Prostitutes and drug addicts and whatnot.
Prostitutes and acid.
And he's like, nah, man, I'm tripping balls enough. I don't condone drugs. I'm naturally.
Oh, yeah, it's like a 1950s conversation that Bates has with them. He's like, well, I don't condone this, and I'll call the police.
I want you out of here by the morning. You're like, what the hell?
And he's like, you can't do it to me, I quit. That's how he says, but
no. Then that night he brings over Meg Tilly and he like makes her a sandwich and he cuts it with his psycho hands.
Oh yeah, raw. Like doesn't even wash them.
Like he puts his freaking
like he comes straight
fingerprint
from the jail.
like in the Wonder Bread crust.
He comes straight from being released from jail and washes dishes and then brings her home, makes a sandwich, gives it to her, cuts it.
And then, like, after emotional breakdown,
cuts
like,
it in diamond shape.
Next day, after, like, an emotional breakdown in the diner, where he's, like, starts seeing...
Because the manager shows up.
Starts seeing notes
of his mom. And the
manager's
like, how's your new psycho? Yeah, he doesn't know who's leaving the notes. It's, you know, on the rotating thing, the orders. And it's like, don't let that little slut know. Talking about the girl that he met, you know.
And then, like, Meg Tilly's like, oh, I would let loose on him or whatever. And he's like, oh, no, I don't kill anyone anymore.
She was like, you're so calm and cool.
He isn't, like, as clever and witty and, like, attentive as he was in the original. But that's understandable.
I think it's a little bit off.
He's in his 40s or whatever.
It's a little bit all. He's like a little bit from the original, and then he's a little bit kind of different, and he's a little bit kind of
like, there's only short spurts where he's, like... the real Norman Bates. The other times he's just like an old raisin, like
he's just like an actor. Like I just got out of jail for 22 years. He's saying so.
And then
so he's just boring and insane.
And then that night they like pay homage to the shower scene, and Norman Bates is using his traditional people.
Oh yeah, you know he freaking screwed that with the drill.
It's probably been there since like the 50s.
That's what I'm saying. He did it with like an old drill way back.
But it's his own personal one. Like he's been watching his mom before she even died too.
Oh wow.
And then he kills the NYPD Blue guy. He slashes him in the face, and they cut away from the death.
It's pretty tight. That scene's pretty good.
If it would have lasted a little bit longer, it would have been even more dope.
I mean,
but it was good enough.
It was more
for the
bloody
first kill.
than for like the original.
And then he like keeps seeing notes from his mom, and he's like sees her in the window, and he's going up there, and
it's like the room all changed around, cleaned up, and he's like, who the? And it's his mother's room.
Yeah, so they threw him back in here, and he's like got home field advantage for a psycho.
He's
like
got psycho home field advantage.
And then he like checks out his game-worn dresses like in his mom's room. He like takes a trip down memory lane. They show him in his mom's room.
He's like, I haven't worn this dress. I haven't worn this one.
1960. Then he kills the kid in the basement.
Yeah, because it's just a random scene where the two kids sneak in, like, hey, it's a big old house.
It's like, hey, we're not gonna kill anyone, so for script convenience, since this is the slasher,
we gotta kill someone. So,
this is perfect timing. Of course, they resurrected this franchise in 1983. It was probably like a year or two late of the slasher craze. But, oh my god, it was probably amazing growing up in the 80s as a teenager watching these movies every weekend.
Nobody cares. Alright, filler scene.
Yeah, they
do. The 15-year-old boy and the teenage chick show up. They go through the basement and they light up a J, and then they start trying to do it.
And she's got no tits.
And then she comes
she's like
in dressed as mother. It's pretty tight shot because he's closing the door, and and he's coming around the corner, and he closes it as he's coming in. It's pretty tight. And then he gets all stabbed and cut up, and the chick makes it out.
Say tight one more time.
Shut the hell up for a second. So then freaking She runs away, and then the cops show up, and Norman's flipping out, and he's like upstairs, and then what's her name comes home, Mary.
They try to make you believe that he's not flipping out, or like he is flipping out.
But it's not him. So
you know he's still psycho.
Well, you don't know.
Officially. Yeah, and
Wait a second, Psycho 2. Nah, shut up. Go on.
Where are we anyway?
Or where freaking the cops show up.
He kills kids in the
Mary
just
shows
shut
up
up.
when he's up top and the freaking locked in the door.
Take your mouth and shut your lips.
Okay.
He comes down and the cops and the girl starts acting weird, and then Norman Bates just looks like he needs an Ativan.
Oh yeah.
When the cops there. He's like, no, I didn't do anything. Oh no, I was just sweeping up around the house. I didn't.
And she lies,
even though killing two kids is like a Tuesday afternoon for Norman Bates. Oh, just like how a Tuesday afternoon is like Roger Goodell screwing up the NFL. And anyway,
pretty much the same.
And then anyway, Vera Mills, like Loomis, Marion Crane's sister, as we know, complains to the sheriff, and he's like, "There's no corpse of Telek."
Yeah, the line's classic. I don't think you said it right.
Oh yeah, I definitely didn't say it right. Anyway, I'm gonna get through this. Then the shitter starts bleeding, just like as random.
Amityville, it's like exactly
Amityville
the same
2 style with the blood coming out the
I mean, once you realize what it is, that it's the blood, then you're like, okay, and then it all makes sense. But when you first start seeing it, you're like, what the hell? Because it looks like dark black shit, and you're like, what the and it's like the toilet and coming out of the sink and everything.
And it's like at night, and they're like both tripping balls that night, and then Norman starts...
Oh, so when they start both acting psycho.
And then Norman is like more so like acting psycho
and they
more than her.
develop a psycho love relationship where they're both just psycho.
And then she falls asleep, and she wakes up, and like Norman's like hovering above her, like holding a knife over her.
And she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Nothing." He turns around.
And then she's like the shoulder for Norman to cry on.
Oh yeah, it's like an emotional filler, like dramatic scene where they're like, "Oh."
And then we get to reveal like the next day that like Mary tells like or talks to her mom, and we figure out that she's the niece, and it's a scheme to drive Norman mad.
Yeah, because his doctor shows
drive
up
him back into the madhouse.
To tell Norman like, yeah, it's them fucking calling you and messing with your head.
No, so like, that night he's crying, and he's like telling Mary about his missing mom, and he's lonely, even though he has another psycho in the house for the first time since like he poisoned his mom.
And they should get along real well because she's pretty psycho.
48. Yeah, exactly, and he acts like he's lonely even though he's got another psycho. Actually, she's just a stupid bitch. Her performance is terrible. Yeah, she totally brings down this movie. You start to think that she might be psycho.
But then sometimes it's...
Because she has to be psycho to be hanging out with Norman Bates, but then you find out that she's in on the scheme.
It's just part of the plot, yeah, to put him back in jail.
They're trying to drive him mad. They're trying to act like...
But that's not the whole main thing in the plot, though. That's the good secret that they keep towards the end. So then go on.
And then the cops show up, and no, his doctor visits him and tells him that they're scheming against him, so he knows it at this point.
So he asks her about it.
And then the cops show up, and then like, no, the cops show Norman Mrs. Bates' corpse.
Yeah, to prove to him that his mom's not out running around.
That scene's dope.
Still killing people. So
they should have done it in more like shadowy light, like how they did the Nightmare on Elm Street.
I know, it was
the
like
funeral scene outside. Instead, it was like broad daylight.
Broad daylight, and the workers open the freaking casket, and they whiff the freaking dead.
And you're like, well, that pretty much sums it up, Norman.
And you're like, yeah, she's pretty freaking dead.
Let's go eat sandwiches like the fat kid. Right. Let's go eat sandwiches like the fat kid from Bad Santa.
Some sandwiches.
And then at this point, you realize Norman Bates is too drugged up to kill anyone.
Yeah, because he's just on psychotropics.
No.
Synthetic man-made pills.
Then the cops find like one car in the lake of the manager that he killed. Same lake where he jumped Janet Leigh's car.
Yeah, so they take him there, and they don't even have the car out. It's just like they found a suitcase. Like they had some diver there.
And then they get back to the house, and then the mother's shadow figure. It's like the dope kill, stab in the mouth, death scene.
Pretty tight scene.
All right.
That's one of the
Well, we're gonna start talking about spoilers now. Anyway, we've been talking about spoilers anyway, and
all right, so Psycho 2.
If you've seen it,
it's 2 psychos.
And
right?
You get it.
You get it? Psycho 2? There's 2 psychos.
Halloween 661 gets it.
The chick that looks like a dude.
He freaking gets it.
The dude that looks like a chick.
No, then and it's anyway, yeah, Mrs. Swample was like, no, they try to conceal it still, like, of who the mom is, who's dressing up as the mom, even though you pretty much know it's Norman.
Well, no, you don't know.
Oh yeah, you think it's.
You find out that they're doing the plot against him to put him back in jail or in the institution.
But they wouldn't be killing anyone unless the girl's psycho. So you think that Meg Tilly might still be psycho or whatever.
So then they let him go from at the.
Shut up! I'm not even there yet, you idiot.
Yeah, they let him go from the swamp. They're like, all right, I believe you.
No, and it's like the dope death scene where he stabs Mrs. Loomis in the freaking mouth.
That's the best one out of all the scenes.
Yeah, that's definitely vintage 80's, and then anyway, we're gonna go towards the end here. Norman Bates is like talking to his mom on the phone, getting more psycho, and then Mary dresses up as the mother. This girl didn't even watch Psycho, and Anthony Perkins wanted them to replace her like halfway through filming or whatnot because she was so terrible. She didn't even watch the first freaking movie. Like we were saying earlier, I think we were already talking.
Calls again, and freaking Mary tells him to kill Mary.
Yeah, Mary dresses up as mother and stabs the doctor.
Yeah, because the doctor's in the house too.
But she's not. Around. She doesn't go on a psycho rant. She doesn't say anything. She's like defensive.
Because it wasn't even because the one
she's
who called,
not even psycho. She did it by accident.
The one who called on the phone was the doctor. His doc, his psychiatrist, was calling from the outside at the hotel, calling up to the house. And then she got dressed up, and then he's in the house walking around and gets stabbed by her, and she thought it was Norman. But anyways, so they start running around now.
And then she starts slashing at Norman, cuts his hand. That scene's dope. When she cuts his hand, it's one of those squeamish scenes where you watch it and she cuts Norman's hand.
And then Norman's like, it's okay, I'll clean it up, give me the knife. And then she just starts flipping out for no reason.
No, the cops come in and shoot her. Do they even kill her?
No. Before that, why they get down to the basement, because freaking she's like, give me the knife, and he starts stabbing Norman Bates with the knife as they're walking down the stairs.
Yeah, no shit. What you point?
Yeah. My point is you didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, I did. The whole fucking last minute, you jackass.
Wow, I wasn't paying attention.
Everyone knows. If they want to hear, they could rewind.
Okay, so the freaking cops are like busting the house with no warrant, like today.
Just shut up. Let me talk.
Shoot her up as she's about to stab Norman.
Did she die? I don't know.
Yeah, she's dead.
No, the cops think that the two Loomis women, were just doing it against him. They're like,
so then the cop lets him go because they're like, oh,
ignorant cops who are just drinking.
They're like, oh, it's Norman. He's
coffee.
Misunderstood. Yeah, so they take him to the cop station and let him go. They're like, yeah.
Oh my god, this ending's amazing. This is where the script gets real juicy.
So it's outside shots of the house. It's a blue moon. It's all.
We don't even know if Norman did it still yet. And then his supposed real mother. Oh yeah, it's an awesome shot. His mom shows up. No, Mrs. Swampool or whatever shows up and reveals that she's his real mom.
It's like the silhouette of like the actual mom, and then she's wearing different clothes when she.
No, and she tells Norman Bates that he was freaking a bastard child, and he's just like smiling the whole time during. He's like taking being a bastard child well, and that she was his real mother or whatever. Well, even though if you read the plot lines, and I think there's still more to go. If I watch Psycho 3, they explain the more origins better. And
the origin of him being
the shot of her coming up to the door and she's still alive and she's freaking Norma Bates' sister. It's just so fucking classic. You just love script writing like that. It's
so she
fucking
gets in the
amazing.
House and he's like, I was just making some sandwiches.
She didn't want a sandwich.
And then he makes her a sandwich. No, he makes her some poison tea.
Oh, he grabs the old tin from the back of the counter. And he carries it. And he fucking hits her on the side, back of the head with a shovel. That scene's so dope.
What does he say to her right before he says it? He's like, "You sure you don't
want the sandwiches?" Like the fat kid from Bad Scene. And then it's like the voiceover, and he carries her down the stairs, and it's the voiceover of the mom. Great ending. And then it's the outside shot of the train.
He carries her up the stairs, and he starts.
And he
being
reopens
psychotic.
the freaking.
He starts being psychotic and doing his mom.
Oh yeah, he fully goes
She's like,
insane at this moment.
She's
You're like,
put me in front of the window so I can watch out there and make sure you're not getting any girls. And he's like, "You're right, mother."
And he reopens the Bates Motel, and he turns on the sign, and it's like vacancy bleak, and he walks on the outside the trailer
and she's
shop.
Like, I don't allow any alcohol in the house. And he's like, "Yes, mom. Yes, mother."
Great ending. Oh my god, it's worth all the boringness in the middle of it with Meg Tilly's awful
the only
acting.
thing that's off-putting
Jennifer
is her,
Tilly's
and it
sister.
freaking goes pretty good.
Oh, you think it's gonna be telegraphed like, oh, they were setting her up, and you know that Norman's psycho, and he didn't kill anyone until the ending.
I thought it was just that one twist where it's just, they're just trying to put him in jail. And he's not psychotic anymore. He's changed, but really he's still.
They tried to make you believe that he wasn't psycho the whole time, even though he's Norman Bates. Even though he is psycho.
We didn't mention the part when freaking Mary chases him down to the basement and she finds the body and realizing that he's been killing everyone. But really,
she tries to blame it on him. Oh yeah, she thinks that he did. It's like
underneath the rocks in the basement or the coal pile.
Anyway, we said enough of this. This is definitely good.
Yeah.
It's probably about an 8.2, 8.5.
Yeah, everybody's freaking annoyed at your voice right now, so we should get being done here. Yeah, I think it was probably an 8.3, just because of the filler of Mary.
Psycho.
Because Mary was so ugly.
Look forward to the future. Give us your thoughts on the
Psycho
Psycho
look forward
franchise.
To the future and give us your thoughts on the freaking fact.
I'll send one of the future where we're going to do Psycho 3 review.
Oh yeah, well, you guys look forward to that.